Shabbat Shalom. This is the second week in the Hebrew month of ER, and we are so thrilled that all of you are here joining us this evening. We have much going on. We are welcoming our friends from Montini Catholic High School to our congregation. We're thrilled you're here. Tomorrow, Sam Freeman is going to be called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah, and this is Social Action Shabbat. And we are so happy to welcome our speaker, April Redzik, later to speak. She is the CEO of DuPage Pads. So we are so thrilled that all of you are here tonight to join us on this wonderful occasion. Also, Leandrew Tolliver is going to be receiving his JPS commentary because he is exactly 1 year away from his bar mitzvah. So very exciting. Lots of fun things going on this evening. Before we begin our services tonight, I want to remind you that if you've brought with you into the sanctuary any kind of device that makes noise, to please silence it at this time so as not to disturb the sanctity of the service, and then we won't talk about you at the oneg. Each of us comes into the sanctuary with a different need. Some of us are here to celebrate a wonderful occasion. Others are here because they are commemorating a yortzeit, the anniversary of a loved one's death. Some are here to gather with friends and feel the warmth and spirit and love of community. Others are here because tomorrow he's going to become a bar mitzvah. Whatever our reason for being here this evening, let us take a moment to breathe in the peace, the joy, and the wonder and awe of this holy Shabbat time. And we begin our service with the singing of Lechune Ranana, which can be found in our Sidurim, in our prayer books, starting on the song sheets. They can be on the song sheets, or you can follow along, if you don't read music like me, you can follow along on page 12 in your Sidur, in your prayer book, Lechune Ranana. It is my pleasure to invite Jody Freeman to the bima to sanctify our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת, להדליק נר של שבת.
Amen. We continue on page 28 with Baruch Hu. Will the congregation please rise?
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. It is my pleasure on the eve of his bar mitzvah to invite up Sam Freeman to lead us in Ma'ariv Aravim on page 30.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma potea she'arim uvit muna mishane itim umahalif et hazmanim umsader et hakochavim b'mishmeroteham barakia kirtsono borei yom v'layla Gulel or mipne chosha, v'chosha mipne or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila. Adonai sevaot shemo. El hai v'kayam, tamid yimloch alenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue now with the Shema on page 34. Please rise. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue on page 36, chanting Ve'ahavta together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'elem asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecham medibartam bam Beshivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. On page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. We continue with Mi Chamocha on page 40.
Mi
We continue on page 42 actually. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, v'taknenu ba'atzei tova milfanecha, v'hoshienu l'ma'an shmecha. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We continue now on page 44 with Vishamru, our prayer that reminds us that indeed we have lots of things going on, but first and foremost tonight is Shabbat.
We come now to our congregational tefillah, which can be found in our Sidurim, in our prayer book, starting on page 46. Will the congregation please rise? Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Please be seated. We continue on the bottom of page 59. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you, God, are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We continue with the singing of Shalom Rav, which can be found in our Sidurim, in our prayer book on page 60. Let's take a moment for silent meditation. At this time in our worship service, our thoughts turn to those of our communities and our families who are ill and in need of healing. This evening, we think of Rabbi Bruce Goldwasser, Rabbi Fred Wanger, Arnold Zahn, James Koenig, Arthur Lang, Sarah Warch, Stuart Fish, Sonia Maria Reimar Miller, Carol Pretnar, Denise Fleischer, Melissa Bullman, Frederick Bryan, Carl Holm, and all who suffer, whom we know not by name. Misha Berach Avotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yivarech v'Yirapeh kol Cholei Yisrael, Vayishlach lahem bimheira, Refuah Shlema, Refuah Tanefesh, Refuah Taguf v'Nomar. Amen. May the God who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are stricken. May the Holy One of Praise mercifully restore them to health and to vigor. May God grant them health of body, health of spirit, and of mind, and let us say together, Amen. Misha Berach, the prayer for healing, can be found in our Sidurim, starting on page 253.
The B'nai Mitzvah process starts in 5th grade when students receive their B'nai Mitzvah date. A year prior to their B'nai Mitzvah, students begin the more formal process of studying for their B'nai Mitzvah. As we mark this special occasion on the Shabbat of your Torah portion, it is a time for families to begin this process together by attending Shabbat and holiday services, having conversations around what it means to become B'nai Mitzvah, and thinking about how your family wants to mark this special milestone. Tonight, we have a special opportunity to welcome students to this part of the B'nai Mitzvah journey. It's my pleasure to invite Drew Tolliver to the Bima together with Sam Freeman. Sit over here. Surprise. Drew, we stand here together to give you this Torah commentary to use over the next year and hopefully beyond that. We hope that this Torah commentary helps you to become more familiar with your Torah portion and gives you the ability to study the Torah as a whole. You all have this Torah portion, both you and Sam, and we are so excited to welcome you into this chain of tradition.
And next year, Drew, you are going to be here the night before your bar mitzvah, and Sam, hopefully I can strong-arm you to come back and read Torah that night. And then you'll both be able to present the next kid who's in line to get his or her JPS commentary. And thus we link tradition and Torah together, building and strengthening our Jewish community. So if there's anyone here who also had the Torah portion Emor, anybody else? Oh, Barry, come on forward. Yes, you get a blessing too. Yes, I think so. Anybody else want to pretend they had this Torah portion? I love the crowd, you know. And so I'm going to ask everyone to please rise as I convey upon them a threefold priestly blessing from the book of Numbers. Yeverechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, vayasem lecha shalom, vayasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God be kind and gracious unto you. May God's countenance be lifted up unto you and grant you the most precious gift of peace. And we say together, Amen. Please be seated. I love those commentary passings. I can't help it. It is my pleasure at this time to invite forward Barbara Margolis and Patricia Rosenman to lead us in the prayer for our country and the prayer for the state of Israel, which can be found in our prayer book, starting on page 258 and 259, at the bottom of the pages.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen.
We continue on page 242 with the singing of Oseh Shalom.
Say shalom Aleinu. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Marla Gerard, and I'm chair of the Social Action Committee, and I'm going to introduce our speaker. April Redzik was imprinted with a need to help children and families struggling with poverty at an early age. As a big brother, big sister tutor during high school, she saw firsthand how economic disadvantage affects a child's learning and well-being, but also how resilient and creative the human spirit is, especially when caring people come forward to help. Prior to joining DuPage PADS, April served as Vice President of Resource Development for Kids Above All, and also held director roles at the United Way of Metropolitan Chicago and Catholic Charities in Chicago. April holds a master's degree in nonprofit administration from Notre Dame University, Mendoza College of Business, and a Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, Chicago. Today, April is president and CEO of DuPage PADS, an organization that provides a warm place to sleep and a beacon of hope for those experiencing homelessness in DuPage County. She joined the organization in July of 2020. Yes, a difficult time. Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and led the organization through a shift to sustain hotel-based emergency shelter provisions, a new strategic plan, and the acquisition and conversion of a 125-room hotel to create Illinois' first interim housing center of its kind. So almost 2 weeks ago, a group from Etz Chaim cooked and served and went over to the interim hotel. We were checking it out to see how this was all going to work out, and I'm really proud and pleased to say it was a complete success, and we're now going to be regularly doing this, and it's very exciting. And with no further ado, I'd like to call April up to talk to us.
Hello, friends. Whether you know me or not, I do call you all friends because you've all helped DuPage PADS throughout the years with a kindness from your congregation, and we're very, very grateful for that. So therefore, friends. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure to meet yet, I am April Redzik, and I'm president and CEO of DuPage PADS. I am really honored to be speaking to you all today to be able to share a little about all of our collective impact. As this is a Shabbat service celebrating a bar mitzvah that will happen tomorrow, which is the beginning of a journey into adulthood, I'd like to talk to you this evening a little bit about journeys. I believe that a journey is best walked humbly. And for the teens who are among us today, I will tell you that being humble was not my easiest lesson when I was your age. And in the words of my grandma, God rest her soul, when I was your age, I thought I knew everything. As I've gotten older, I would like to think that I've gotten wiser, and if I haven't, at least I've learned there are so many things that I still didn't know. And for those of you who are beginning your journey into adulthood, I wish you joy, I wish you adventure, and I wish you a life filled with so many things that you don't know, but you get to discover. So I'd like to share with you a few things that I've learned while I've been at PADS. Number one, there are very few things that can't be made at least a little bit better with food. As some of you know, I come from a mixed faith background. I was raised Catholic, but my grandmother married into an amazing Jewish family when I was a very small child, and they welcomed me and my brother into open arms and a life supply of chicken soup, aka Jewish penicillin. Food makes a world of difference for our clients at PADS. It means welcome, it means nourishment, it means health. I will go to my grave remembering Kenny, who's a client of ours, who, when I asked him about his heart health and where it stemmed from, described to me what it's like to eat out of a garbage can and how that affected his health. It is very full circle that I am here with you all today because a member of your congregation, Joanna, was Kenny's hero and took care of him when he moved into his home of his own. So to all of you who've made a meal for PADS, either in the past or 2 weeks ago, I want to tell you that you are truly lifesavers because with that meal also comes proper nutrition. And oftentimes a meal is a reminder that people care. A reminder that somebody cares at a time when our clients are coming to us gives them hope, oftentimes in a time when they are out of it. Having no place to stay is really hard and demoralizing, and it's often the lowest point in our clients' lives. And so those meals that you've made have meant a world of difference to them as they come out of that. I've also learned, my lesson number 2, courage comes in small packages. We have a mom with 3 little girls who came to our interim housing center in 2021, right as our school year was beginning, and we had not yet acquired the building that is now our IHC. When I met this woman, she was very quiet, which surprised me a little because her daughters were super gregarious. They're the ones who like to jump off the curb and then show me a twirl. This woman had happy children, but her face was literally gray from worry. She was losing her hair. She was very thin, and her clothes were falling off of her, and something seemed wrong, and we knew it wasn't just about her housing situation. We discovered that someone in her life was violent, and she needed safety, and she needed her own space. So that was December of 2021. I ran into them again in October of that year because she and her daughters needed winter coats, and I was womaning our resource room. That's another. If you're all interested in volunteering, I will tell you that's another super fun way to get involved. It's right up the street on Highland, and you get to help people shop. So if you're a shopper, this is your jam. I was handling the resource room on that day, and she came in really worried about sizes for her girls, but told us that she would just take anything. And I mentioned this to Chad, our vice president of development, and when he was over there next, he talked her into finding a coat that fit her. Halloween came, we did a trunk or treat. Her girls loved it. One dressed up as a butterfly. All of them had their faces painted. This is the first time I saw their mom start to smile. In November of that year, her abuser came back and wanted to reconnect with her, and she was brave, and she told him she wanted to stay with Pads because it was good for her girls. Later that month, her underlying health condition turned into a health crisis, and we found her girls coming down to our office in the middle of the night to tell us their mom was unconscious. We called 911, and we kept the girls with us. She went to the hospital, and she came back alive, and she came back determined to take care of her own health for her family and for herself. Again, she was brave. Small package, brave woman. If you saw her today, you would literally never recognize her from before. Her hair came back. Her face looks healthy. She's smiling. She just got a job at a local restaurant, and she told me about that in her lobby 2 weeks ago. You probably all brought her a meal and her little peanuts of girls. For extra income, she sells craft fairs nearby, and she's so proud of her daughters, especially her kindergarten, who is loving school. She goes to school not far from here, and it's been a really good experience for her. Third lesson learned is simple, but very important, and that is people can be really amazing when they come together. Our work today, Pad's work, was born out of the work that many of you here did for years. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We didn't come up with this on our own. So many of you here today are our giants, and so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done for 20 years to bring hope and help to our clients who come to us in what is mostly the most traumatic time of their lives. Being able to lead a journey toward our interim housing center has been a gift for me, and for our clients, it has been life-changing. Compared to historic operations, I know we were here with you all, so you know what that looked like. Providing clients with a private and a secure room to house themselves has brought in oodles of good things. Here are some numbers if you're a numbers person. We had an 80% reduction in mental health incidents. That's things that would pop up during the night where one person would have a mental health crisis and then the next person next to them, it would exacerbate that condition. So it could make things really hard for them. That happens so much less when you have your own space to decompress. I loved that we got an opportunity to meditate for a moment here, to be in our space. It's so important for someone to have that space for a moment. We saw a 75% reduction in health conditions like the flu, like respiratory illnesses, because folks had a place to stay during the day. They weren't going out in the cold, and what had been a cold would turn into pneumonia because they didn't have that shelter all the time. So that's been really amazing to see. Equally stunning, we had a 500% increase in utilization of case support services. What does that mean in normal speak? That means who people in our old model would spend their day on the bus trying to get from a site to a site, instead are spending time getting closer to financial independence. They're looking for jobs. They're taking care of a health condition. They're doing other critical things that help them end their homelessness. And it looks different for everybody. Everyone has their own goals in their own situations. And what we get to do is get them closer toward their own space. And again, one of you here helps them once they get into that space. So it's been really beautiful to see, but has been happening at a greater frequency now that we are up the street from you in our interim housing center. So now families have a safe door. They have a healthy dinner, thanks to many of you, a private place to shower and brush their teeth, a warm bed, and for our kids, a way to get to school in the morning. We are literally the first organization in our state to repurpose a hotel to end homelessness. But I can tell you we will not be the last. I'm in conversations regularly with other organizations, both in state and with the state and the federal government, and also other organizations throughout our country who are taking what we've learned and making their own plans to create a similar impact. So again, this has been wonderful. I'm so, so grateful to be with you today to talk about it. I'm so grateful to all of you for helping us to get where we are. And on behalf of our clients, our board, and our staff, thank you so much for everything all of you have done for DuPage PADS, both in the past and the present. We would not be here without all of you. So for all of you this evening and always, no matter where you are on your journey into adulthood, I hope you too find many things that you get to learn.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Joel Spenedel. I'm here for my second to last Bema duty in my term as officer of the congregation. The last time is in 2 weeks at Ben's confirmation. Yes, it's a big month for the Freemans. Welcome to our guests from Montini Catholic High School. Thank you to our usher, Taylor Rishier, our greeter, Rachel Wood, and our security team. Thank you to the congregational choir, led by Jason, for your beautiful, lovely music. And thank you especially to April Redzik for being our speaker this evening. I heard you speak in November at the Wake Up Your Spirit breakfast. You're inspiring. What you do is inspiring. For those who were inspired tonight, there is a sign-up sheet. Marla, you've got it. Please see Marla if you want to volunteer to cook or to serve, or just want to get more information about what DuPage Pads does. Please see Marla. This afternoon I was at a meeting of DuPage United, which is another group that the Social Action Committee supports. We were speaking about affordable housing and trying to get affordable housing into DuPage. There's a need for 20,000 units. Some of us are trying to get some units into Glen Ellen. There was a meeting on Monday night at the Glen Ellen Village Hall. It's a board meeting. Anyone who wants to come, please see me or just show up, and we're going to be supporting affordable housing in Glen Ellen. We need it all over DuPage. Mazel tov, Sam, and to your family as well for becoming a bar mitzvah. Join us tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. to celebrate Sam being called to the Torah. Mazel tov, Leandrew, on receiving your Torah commentary. Please join us Sunday to hear from Joyce Wagner, author, Holocaust survivor, centenarian. I think she's 100 and a half. I don't know how you pronounce that, but she's 100 and a half. And mother of CEC member Gilda Ross. Opportunities to hear from living survivors are rarer all the time. That's, I believe, at 10:45 in the morning on Sunday. For more information on upcoming events, check out our weekly happenings email. Please join us after services for a wonderful oneg in the social hall, co-sponsored by the Freeman family in honor of Sam's bar mitzvah and the Social Action Committee in honor of the Social Action Shabbat and April Redzik. Shabbat Shalom.
So I'm curious to see, by a show of hands here, how many of you all have been involved in any way with PADS, whether that's through cooking or donations or paper goods or saying hello to somebody. It can be at any location, doesn't have to have even been here, right? It's a huge number of people. You can put your hands down. You can see the impact that makes. I will tell you that my congregation that I grew up at was a PADS host site, and I have memories from when I was a kid of my parents taking myself and my siblings to help serve the clients there and to be a part of giving back. It's a huge impact, and I still have those memories decades later. Right? There is so much work that we can do, and the work that we all are doing together not only helps the clients at the Interim Housing Center, but it also helps to teach the next generation the importance of giving back, the importance of supporting our community in so many ways. And so for those of you who raised your hands, for those of you who didn't raise your hands, I do hope that you will find Marla afterwards and sign up. We are excited to continue to give back to PADS in the many ways that we can. We are going to begin concluding our service this evening with Aleinu on page 282. And it is my pleasure to invite up Dubravka Uraga and Jacob Spinedel to help us open our ark doors. Please rise.
Shalom.
Please be seated. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who have died at this season and in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. And on this Shabbat, we remember Michael Wagner, father of Gilda Ross, Stanley Zeitlin, uncle of Barbara Tischler, Edith Hilfman, grandmother of Lynn Sullivan, Mary Pallier, grandmother of Gary Pallier, great-grandmother of David Pallier, Regina Redman, mother of Sharon Clark, Morris Bider, grandfather of Marla Bentley, Sue Chait, mother of Joanne Gallagher, Toby Rosen, grandmother of Gerald Kirschbaum, Faye Unical, mother of Alan Unical, Robert Glass, brother of Michael Glass, Rachel Honig, daughter of Irene Honig, Leonara Sestukin, grandmother of Ezra and Micah Lewiton, Joseph Anthony Sirabasi, father of John Sirabasi, Joan Karpfdicker, mother of Leah Notaris, Barbara Morrison Hansfield, mother of David Hansfield, Emma Shapiro, mother of Sherry Balin, Sidney Wright, father of Mark Wright, Aaron Basson, father of Linda Siegel, Erwin Davis, uncle of Deborah Bacall, Rosalind Friedman, mother of Steve Friedman, Keith Matthew Stoller, Clayton Springer, and we mourn the recent passing of Leah Liss, mother of Judith Mindel, grandmother of Rachel Sashik, Ariel Fries, Talia Kite, and Zachary Mindel, and Alvin Longman, father of Douglas Longman, grandfather of Adam Longman, Elizabeth Carlson, and Rachel Milamed. We continue now with the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam l'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudasha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. Please be seated. We conclude our service this evening on page 321 with the singing of Adon Olam. We are going to conclude with Kiddush and Motzi. It is my pleasure to invite up Sam Freeman and his family to help lead us in Kiddush. You just get to stand up here and look pretty. That's all. Come on up. We are on page 5 if you'd like to follow along. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techiva lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'harta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. And you get to hold challah also. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. May each of us in our own way be inspired to give back to our community this Shabbat and on all days going forward. Shabbat shalom.